that's you know, an egregious example, I know, but there are many claims made in the name of God.
I've been accused of going for the egregious examples and omitting what are sometimes described as the great majority of sensible Christians. I'd like to know where that great majority is. I mean, in the United States at least, it's getting on for 50% of the population, according to Gallup polls, believes that the world is less than 10,000 years old. I mean, that's stark raving bonkers. And that's got to be mainstream if it's nearly 50%.
And yet your U.S. leaders, the presidents, have all been, if not religious men, gone to church.
I don't think that even
Clinton,
Bush
the Baptist,
believes... Yes, they have. I mean, I think even Bush doesn't really believe the world is only 10,000 years old. I mean, I haven't heard what he said about that, but I'd be surprised if even he is quite as idiotic as that.
But what is wrong with somebody going to Mass and finding solace, connecting, praying?
Yeah, I mean, I have no, obviously anybody can do what they like. I mean, I'm not in the business of trying to interfere with people's lives, and if people find solace in going to Mass, I do object when they start interfering with other people's lives, which they frequently do, and I object very strongly when they start indoctrinating children and perpetuating it to future generations.
So to parents you would say what? Because we're raised to teach our children to
Teach your children to think. Teach them to think for themselves. Teach them to ask questions. Teach them to say, what's the evidence for this? Teach them what the word evidence even means. Don't say, this is the way it is. You are a Catholic. You are a Protestant. You are a Muslim. Teach them there are some people who believe this and they're called Catholics. There are some people who believe this and they're called Protestants. Other people are called that and they are called Muslims and they believe that. Teach children a whole range of religions. Teach people teach children how to evaluate evidence, where evidence comes from, why certain beliefs are more likely to be true than others. There's all sorts of ways in which you can teach children a skeptical, open-minded, questioning attitude.
And how do you help a child who's going through a rough time, who loses a parent, dog gets run over, being bullied at school? How do you help a child recover from that?
Every case is different. I mean, psychologists are professionals in helping people to recover from all these difficulties. Counselors, psychologists. You don't tell children a lot of lies that originate in a Bronze Age book written in a desert. You help people by using the best of modern psychological insight and knowledge.
In your studies, do you believe that there were masters who walked the earth, a Jesus, Muhammad, a Buddha, physical men who were probably here giving lectures, healing in any way?
I have no particular... I know there's some people who doubt that Jesus ever existed. I'm sure, I mean, clearly there were many people, there have been many people who've walked the earth, who have been teachers, who've had followers, and there are lots and lots of them. Jesus may or may not have been one of them. It's not a big deal for me whether Jesus himself happened to exist or not. If he didn't exist, there certainly would have been others like him. It's a sort of arbitrary, not very important question.
Does it bother you that groups of people think one person is the way, the truth, and the light?
Yes, of course, because they go to war with other people who think somebody else is the way, the truth, and the life. And by the way, when I said I have no problem with the idea that somebody like Jesus walked the earth, I most definitely do have problems with the idea that he did miracles, which is one of the main reasons people believe in Jesus and Muhammad and people like that. They think that they did miracles. They think that Jesus turned water into wine, was born of a virgin. They think Muhammad went to heaven on a winged horse and divided the moon in two and things. That's one of the reasons why people believe things. And that is anti-scientific.
So if not that, in going into your scientific brain, when you have a bad patch, where do you go?
Human comfort, human fellowship, friendship, love, poetry. You can get solace from all sorts of things. But even if religion does give you solace, that of course doesn't make it true. It's a logical fallacy to say that because people can get comfort from a religious belief, therefore the religious belief reflects reality.
And sometimes on a dark day, it's easy to say, God, you take care of that.
Yes, I know.
You just do it.
Yep.
I can't code.
Yes.
So I'm handing it over
Sure.
to you, and you
Yes.
show me the way.
Yes, that's infantile, of course. I mean, that's the reaction of a child. It's sort of, I don't know what to do, mummy, come and help. That's what that is, and it's not an adult way to handle things.
But there is a desire to be protected.
Yes, for sure there is, and we in many ways suffer from that kind of infantilism.
What do you hope people take mainly from the God delusion?
I hope they open their eyes to reality. They see that the world is beautiful, the universe is beautiful, that it's wonderful to be privileged to understand something of why it exists and why we're here. That is an enormous privilege which is granted to us because we live in the 21st century when so much is known. I would like them to be skeptical of anybody who bases their belief on faith, on revelation, on tradition, on authority. Constantly ask questions. What's the evidence for that belief? Why do you believe that? Why do you think that's true? Don't be satisfied with, oh, well, it says so in the Holy Book. What a pathetic reason to believe anything.
So why do you think so many suffer from what you call the God delusion?
Well, I've mentioned childhood indoctrination, which I think probably is the most important one, and I also mentioned the consolation that people get. And there are many people who get consolation but can't understand that the mere fact that something gives them consolation doesn't make it true.
When you wanted to write this book in the beginning, what did your publisher say?
Well, my literary agent in New York said, don't do it. He said, you can't sell a book like that in America. Maybe you can sell it in Britain, but you can't sell it in the United States. He changed his mind, I think, after 5 or 6 years of Bush.
How many have sold? Any idea?
1.5 million in English alone. And there are 31 foreign language translations, I think.
Wow. Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much
Thank
indeed.
you. You'll be speaking today, 2 o'clock,
Yep,
Chance
I won't
Center. It
forget.
is
Yeah.
sold out,
Yeah.
but you never know.
Okay.
The God Delusion, Richard Dawkins. And coming up...